Louis.
Yes. Yes, folks. So, as I said, we are here waiting the arrival of the Kings relay baton for the Commonwealth Games, and we have President Ken Banks waiting to accept the baton, and you have the governor um, also in attendance, and the baton will be accepted by Ken Banks, and then it will be passed on to the governor herself. We have cyclists, we have Dana and company, and we have it where the baton has been passed on to the governor, Julia Crouch. So the baton has arrived at Government House and is brought in the garden by Her Excellency Governor Crouch. Yes, folks, here we go.
Good, we're all ready. So fantastic to be here this afternoon, to have a wonderful afternoon talking about the positive things that we know Anguilla can be absolutely proud of, its athletes and its sporting achievements. And this is what Anguilla really is all about. It's about community, it's about coming together, it's about celebrating our young people. I'm really happy to be here with this beautiful baton, and it really is beautiful. Every one of the 74 Commonwealth nations and overseas territories has one of these batons, and you'll see that Anguilla's name is carved onto the baton, but also there is one word that is carved onto here, which is the word marine. The reason for that is that with every baton, a word has been taken from the speech that the King will ultimately give to the athletes. So the speech itself contains 74 words, and each member of the Commonwealth has been given a word. How wonderful that Anguilla's word is marine, because I don't know what his speech is going to say. None of us will know. It's secret until the opening ceremony. But Anguilla got the word marine, which could not summarise us, I think, better when our national sport is boating and we're an island surrounded by blue, as we all know. So I think that's wonderful. This year also, we were all given a plain baton, all the 74 nations and overseas territories, to design it ourselves. And the baton that Anguilla has been given is just so beautifully decorated. You can see many of our symbols from Anguilla. I love the fact that the sportsmen and women are on this side. It's particularly lovely to see Paralympics represented on our baton, and then of course the national colours for Anguilla. So what a wonderful symbol this is. So I'm really looking forward. Tomorrow I'll be down at Sandy Ground. Hope you'll all be there at 5:30. I know Anguillians get up early. So looking forward to that, and we'll be picking up litter from the beach as well as snorkeling, which symbolises our pride as well in our islands. So I've probably talked too much, but it's just so lovely to be here. This is such a wonderful thing. Let me turn to you, Mr. Banks.
Thank you, Excellency. Excellency spoke about the history of the baton, and we are
glad that she is well aware of what's going on. A lot of things that she said I will explain a little later, but we're glad that you know, and therefore they know. Today we've been going around from the different schools. We started with the Stonegong School. We went to Morris Vanderpool and to Vivian. We've been to Shoal Bay. We have been to Honolulu and the campus, the quarter campus. They don't like to be called Q. Quarter campus. So we were there, and we had a very good showing of our young people. They were very enthusiastic. Many of them asked questions, and all of them wanted to take a picture with the baton. And you actually spoke about the baton. This actual baton, the work on the baton is done by a collaboration of our local artists. Darrell Thompson of Lloyd's, he did the three dolphins carving on the side. And Rudy, who is here, he actually did the graphic design for all the work on the baton. Thanks, Rudy. And the artwork was done by Carmel Gums. He's not here as yet, but he's on his way. Carmel actually designed our very first Commonwealth Games pin, which was one of the most popular pins at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in 2018. And he did this artwork. So we're glad that that collaboration of our local artists. And this baton, we are saying is going to be the best, but we never know. But we are very proud of the work they did and thank them for their dedication. But it was a crunch time, especially for the painting and the graphic design, but they pulled it off. So we're glad to be here. We took it to Stand Ground yesterday and Saturday for the Young Youth Sailing Club, and it got a little smudged. But Carmel worked overtime to touch it up again, and we have it back again today. So we're glad to be for the baton, and we are glad that Her Excellency will be with us tomorrow morning at 5:30. Now, I don't get up at 5:30, but I'll be there to be part of the plastic cleanup. Now, one of the things with the for this year is the idea of keeping plastics out of the ocean, and therefore one of the things is that each school, beginning today, began picking up plastics from around the schools surrounding and maybe the homes, and they will take them, bag them, and on Wednesday we'll go and document that that collection. And we have to send back to the Commonwealth Games how much plastic we collected, how much plastic we prevented from going back into the water. So all things about protecting the environment. And the fact that the baton this year is made of wood and not plastic is another element in that. This baton was made, all the 70 batons were made from the wood from one ash tree in Scotland. And each of us have one made from that same ash tree. So there's the element of unity in the same tree and diversity in the fact that each baton is decorated differently. So two of the watchwords of the Commonwealth, unity and diversity, and embodied in the baton which we have now. So thank you all for being here, and we were hoping to have the minister, but he is tied up in the House of Assembly, not House, press conference today, which is a very, very important one. In fact, our first event was supposed to be the Nationals, Athletics Nationals on Saturday. That was postponed because of the same violence. So we have been affected by that, but Anguillans are resilient and we'll push forward, go on. I'm glad to have with us today Samara Brooks Santana, Miss Talented Queen in our Anguilla colors. Thank you, Samara. So she's here. Just come and receive the baton. I won't press you to speak, but unless you want to speak. But yeah. Put the camera over here. Okay, thanks. There's a video here I want you to see by Peter Jenkins, the past president of the CDF. I'll just play it. Thanks, Samara.
The King's Baton Relay is probably one of the most exciting things for Commonwealth sport. because it brings together all of the nations and territories who compete in the games. It brings the family together. So it all started way back in 1958 when Her Majesty the Queen sent a message literally in a baton from Buckingham Palace to Cardiff to open the games. This time it's going to be slightly different in that there will be 74 batons being spread all around the Commonwealth, capturing images, capturing the culture of each of the nations. But the best bit is all 74 will come back to Glasgow.
So my name's Tim Norman. I'm a designer, furniture designer and maker in Glasgow. I was approached to make some awards that I later found out were to be the King's Relay Baton. And here it is in all its glory. It's not been engraved or stamped yet with any decals, but this is the actual baton. It's in place, as most workshops are. I'm up the back here, so let's go up and take a look. Yeah, this is where the magic happens. So this is some of the ash. These boards standing up here. Now these have all been milled outside, and they've been kiln dried, and they're now kind of ready for the next stage of processing in the machine shop. We start cross-cutting the lengths of the timber down, and then they're put together, and then they just go through further processing. I mean, some of it's a wee bit secret. I mean, I can't give everything away to you. The processing, it's like a secret family ingredient. Bit of a thrill to kind of be told that the baton design and the baton itself is going off to all the different Commonwealth countries, and they're going to be putting their own cultural stamp on it. The carbon footprint of this baton is brilliant. It's golden. It's come from such a limited transportation with regards to the location of the workshop. The timber for the baton is actually be dropped off from Glasgow Park. So really that's about a 5 mile radius from the workshop here, and the processing all happens in the house here as well. So really, you know, there are very few projects that can have those kind of bragging rights of being so sustainable. So the baton is based on an equilateral triangle. It's 3 equal sides of a triangle, but it's actually made of 3 components as well. And as you can see, it's got the negative space inside there. That's keeping the 3 components off each other, but they're still engaged in the one piece. And really, from that kind of imagery, it took on the shape of the baton, where you've got 2 handles sculpted out of the 3 components, and then you have a piece of the baton that's going to be all the different countries are going to be engaging in the most, where they're putting on their kind of own identity, their own cultural stamp onto the baton. Pretty chuffed with the outcome of it, to be honest.
So today is a fantastic experience for me. Together with the team we met Tim, who's designed this wonderful baton, and we get to see where not only the baton was designed, but where it will be made.
So the history of the baton. Sorry. Shouldn't be easy. So we're hoping that the minister will join us a little later. Until then, I suppose we can just mingle.
Yes.
You met the
Yes.
yeah. Can meet yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
So thanks all for coming and enjoy yourself. Thanks to the Anguilla, the Anguilla Cycle Club, Dini and what's the name? Lawrence for bringing it into us. We're glad that you were able to do that for us at short notice. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks. Thank you.
Folks, we are standing by for a brief chit chat with Rudy and Carmel, the two of the artists who were part of the design for the Baton, the Anguilla leg.
I have two designers. Okay. So we have the two designers of the Baton, Rudy Webster, the graphics, and Carmel, the artist who did the work on the Baton. And I think we want to ask a few questions from Lloyd to the gentleman. I can hold it. You can you speak. Who you going to ask for?
Yes, well, he already has the mic. Question in reference to your design. What gave you the inspiration to come up?
Inspiration was him.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We four of us had a meeting. We discussed what we could do on each side. Decided on probably sport, Anguilla's history, and then part of the culture. So we just thought of different elements that we could all put in. So we all bounced our ideas, around. Althea, Mr. Banks, Carmel, myself, and Rollins as well. So that was the gist of what we got there.
Knowing the importance of what you guys was doing, how in terms of mental pressure, how much pressure was put on you guys to come up with what you all have now?
I think the pressure was the problem in the time. Had we had a year, months to work on it, I think it could have done something extravagant. So I don't think we had a doubt about the ideas. It was just a matter of can we execute in the short time. But it's definitely an honor to have an opportunity to work on it.
Yeah, just to add to that, the pressure was there, like you said, with the time. Also, trying to figure out what design would work best, because in the details that we received, we could have implemented stuff like physical stuff, for example, sand, solid stuff. So we were just trying to figure out, what would work, what wouldn't work in such a short time frame, and then of course the time that it would take to actually put it on. No, it took me about I only had about 2 days to do it, from the time I got the design from Rudy. Rudy probably only had a day to do the design. So it was, you know, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, Allieds had a ingrain on it as well. So I'd say that was the main challenge. But like you said, if it was a year, it wouldn't have been anything really.
So how did you all came to a decision as to what particular piece was going to go on the baton itself? I'm seeing, is that the arch there?
Yeah, so as you can see on the baton, it has different wording. So for this one, it has Marine, and the other one, Commonwealth Sport, and then Anguilla. So we use that as a baseline to decide on, what the image would entail. So for example, Anguilla, we wanted to use something cultural. So we wanted to include, deep roots that we have here on island, as well as something that's celebrated today, the carnival, which is demonstrated.
Freedom or celebration? Freedom of JRW?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, freedom and celebration, I should say. And then as far as the marine life, we wanted to tie in boat racing with national animals, birds, and also aspect of Anguilla that you could easily pinpoint, the arch. So all of that in one.
The area space to work with there in getting that on the baton is very small and
Yeah.
minuscule. How difficult was it?
It, it was a challenge, but I'm glad that it was landscape rather than portrait, because it better shows the land and also the boats, and then everything else, it fit nicely in there.
You see yourself doing something like that again, as opposed to the baton?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you see yourself doing something similar
In terms of
in
a
terms
baton
of,
or art piece?
well, maybe an art piece regarding Anguilla outside of the baton? We're talking about the bat this time.
Yeah. I could see that. Definitely. Just a matter of time.
Well done.
Mr. Banks, in reference to travel of the baton, which leg is Anguilla in the passage?
Well, the Baton is now in the Caribbean. So it was first went live in Trinidad, and then then it was in St. Kitts. From here, it's going to be in BVI. It was in Antigua last week, I think. Montserrat last week, yeah. It's going to be BVI after Anguilla. That's from Thursday. So it's going to the Caribbean. From the Caribbean, then going to the rest of the other 5 areas of the five of the Commonwealth. They have different districts. There's the Caribbean, the Americas, Europe, Africa,
Asia.
Oceania, and Asia. Yeah, those areas. So it's in the Caribbean, began in the Caribbean. And we're part of that.
I know in the past, the batons, they were more elaborate than this. They had GPS, and it had a light on them. I see that there's a big difference between now this one and the past.
I can say that the original patterns all the Batons, you said they had GPS and they had cameras and stuff like that to
Yes.
capture some of the images. What we have done now is we have captured the images on the Baton itself of each country. So the images of the countries will go back to Glasgow on the Batons, as well as we're uploading pictures every day. Out there uploads pictures every day to the site, so you can find them on the site, on the site. But out there uploads pictures. But this permanent record of each country will be at the Commonwealth Games headquarters in the future.
How often are these games run?
Every 4 years. Every 4 years.
Is there a particular time span in which the baton travels through the various different Commonwealth countries? Is there a time span put on
Yes,
it leading
our
up to?
time in Anguilla is from the 10th to the 14th. So we have that period in which we can display, have our events, and post pictures. After that, we can't post from Anguilla. In other words, it is sort of a virtual baton going from island to island. In other words, that we can't, if you post anything after the 15th during Anguilla, that wouldn't count. We have to stay within our time frame. So it acts like as if the baton is traveling, but it's not. It's actually the same baton staying in your country.
Okay. And we know there are 74 Commonwealth
Countries and territories.
countries, and the battle must pass through those countries.
Every year. So we
leading
have
to-
between now and next year, July, when the games
When the
are
games-
held in Glasgow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Wonderful.
I saw Jasmine. Tomorrow the dive is going to be is a part of a collaboration between the Department of Environment. Jasmine is a very important part of that, as well as the whole group. And Jasmine will tell us who else is involved in the in doing the dive tomorrow.
Do I need to hold this as well?
Yes.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm from the Fisheries and Marine Resources at the Department of Natural Resources. And tomorrow we'll be doing the in-water aspect of the cleanup. And that will include both the Fisheries and Marine Resources Unit, the Anguilla Ocean Keepers, volunteers who come out and want to snorkel and help collect garbage, as well as the Anguilla National Trust and the Department of Environment. They'll also be helping with the on-land aspect of it. So we'll have some persons who are snorkeling in the water. We'll have persons who have dive gear on to pick up any heavier or more cumbersome pieces of garbage. We're hoping not to find garbage. In the event that we do, take it out and bring it back to shore and dispose of it properly. That's the whole goal.
Yeah. What's it? You're inviting him
It
to.
might be nice to hear from one of our athletes
Okay,
who
okay.
is going to go to Glasgow. Sorry.
Okay. This is Simon Reho. You actually, Simon is one of our athletes who went to Glasgow. Birmingham, yeah. And hopefully we're going to Glasgow. That's the plan. That's the plan, he says. So, Simon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is Simon Riho, and as Mr. Ken said, I'm one of the past athletes. This is actually going to be my third Commonwealth. My first one was in Australia, second one in Birmingham, and now it's going to be in Glasgow. So, well, I can only say it's a privilege. It's an honor to be selected to be part of the Commonwealth team and be together with all these athletes and, get that experience. I would say, I tell many people it's a one in a lifetime experience. I've been there twice already, and I'm looking forward to our next one. So, yeah, it's been a nice journey over the years. So I'm proud of that.
Welcome. How would you compare your first experience to your second, and what are you looking for, God's Spear Life, in your third?
Well, my first experience, it was, I was young. So it was my first time. So I was just trying to, take it all in, learn from other athletes, just experience it. But my second time around, I went with a different mindset. I went with a mindset to compete this time, like actually compete, because I was even more ready, So I can say that my second time around, I felt more prepared when I went down there and I competed, and I actually did what I had to do and was very proud of it.
The games are some almost a year away or so.
Yeah.
What is your preparation like so far?
Well, as of now, yes, I am training a lot. It takes a lot of training to be at that level, of course. I'm a sprinter, 100-meter sprinter. It's the highlight event of any track and field event meet. I train here in Anguilla as well as in Jamaica. I'm training down there in a professional track club. They are together with different professional athletes and professional coaches. Right, we're using both sides to train, so it's a good environment that I'm down there. I represent Anguilla, although I train down there. But that's my preparation looking forward, just to continue training and continue developing, improving my time, so that when that time comes, I'm ready.
So, with the experience that you have gained through all those experiences, how have you been able to use those experiences to pass on to your fellow peer athletes?
Well, yes, I try to, when I get back, I get together with many of them. Some of the past teams I've been part of. I'm very close to them, close to the coaches, and any knowledge I could pass on to them about what I've learned, I do that. Yes.
How would you encourage someone who's looking at us now by social media? How would you encourage that young mind, that budding athlete who's coming through now? What would you say to them to stay on that path to at least achieve or accomplish a selection going to represent Anguilla at the Commonwealth Game?
Well, I can speak for myself. I was born and raised here in Anguilla. I started at a very young age, and I can just tell them that it's possible. Anything is possible. I was born and raised right here, and today I've been able to compete at not only Commonwealth but World Championships, Carifta, and all these major meets. But I was right here in Anguilla. So it's basically just putting your mind to something, sticking to it, and being consistent, and the results will come. It will come. Just stay around the right people. A lot of people have helped me along the way. Rollins is one of them, and I'm grateful for that. And being in an environment where there are people that can help you has been good for me as well.
My final question would be: we've seen the challenges faced amongst young folks now. Yeah. How have athletics helped you to discipline yourself that you can pass on to any youngster that's watching now?
Well, athletics is a sport where it requires a lot of discipline, as you know. A lot of discipline where, you have to be, let's say, on time for training. You have to be there and you have to execute. I would say that it has helped me in terms of where when I'm in sports, my mind is blocks out everything else. So I don't really get distracted by what's maybe going on down here, but I'm mostly in sports. So sports is, I could say, is a way out, of all of this, getting kids involved where they can be part of something, be part of something that's constructive. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hablo conmigo
Thank
en
you.
español.
Thank you. Yeah. En español, okay, no hay problema.
No, I want you to tell our people, give them some advice in terms of discipline going forward, track and field, whatever, in español.
Okay. So I'll switch in Spanish now. I also speak Spanish. Quisiera darle esta palabra a los jóvenes aquí en Anguilla y en cualquier parte que me estén escuchando. El deporte es algo que en verdad ayuda y es bueno para cada joven que quiera hacerlo. Entonces, yo le dijera a esos jóvenes que traten de buscar, si están interesados, algún deporte que hacer, que lo hagan, porque en verdad no hay necesidad de estar detrás de cosas innecesarias, sea crimen y la violencia, y vemos que es algo que está arropando a la juventud hoy en día, y en verdad necesitamos más jóvenes haciendo cosas buenas que haciendo cosas malas. Y ese sería mi mensaje para todo el mundo que me esté escuchando. En todo hay una oportunidad y hay que aprovecharla. Así que eso es todo.
Okay, gracias. We have your coach, your mentor. We want him to give us a few words now in reference to these games. Not in Spanish though.
Oh. ¿Por qué?
El jefe.
¿Por qué en español?
Ok, ¿tú quieres hablar conmigo en español?
Sí, poquito. Poquito, no hay problema.
Put the program together.
Okay.
Rollins, in reference to these games, how difficult or how easy it is for putting athletes together, preparing them for these games?
Well, the reality is Commonwealth Games is a multi-sport event, which means more than one sport have to select athletes or competitors. When we say athletes, some people think of track and field only, but in this case, we start across the board. So in the past, we have had, at first, we had only track and field attended Commonwealth. Then we had track and field and cyclists. Then we had swimming and boxing. So we have to get the various sports associations sensitized to the level of competition the athletes are going to expect. The difficulty, we don't have enough of the training opportunities here for, say, our boxers. Then our cyclists, you know, sometimes the distance riding in Anguilla, you have to go maybe 3-4 times on the same route. Whereas a Commonwealth game distance, you have to be able to cover quite a large distance. And I believe it gets a bit boring and complacent when you have to cover the same area several times. Regard to track and field, one of our challenges here is that because we have a small target pool, one athlete can dominate very easily. So the challenge for that athlete on a home soil is not there. So really and truly, it would be better for them to go overseas. Sometimes we find difficulty because we have in track and field, we have 100 meters, 200 meters, 200 various events, and almost each of these events, there are different outstanding athletes. So we have to decide who will select based on the event. Oftentimes we try to select athletes, let's say if they're not high in race, they're not too far behind. So if we go for 800-meter runner, we know that we're much further, or 1500, so we try to give our sprinters the best opportunities.
How do you speak to the athletes in encouraging them to strive for further greatness?
Okay, right. So one of the things they have to be in mind, we have to let them know that we're looking at them pretty much on a 4-year cycle. Because those athletes who are like, say, when you go to the schools during the Commonwealth Day activities, we tell them, how old are you? Some are 10, 11 years. You see, in the next 5 or 6 years, you can be representing Anguilla. So those at high school, we say, in 4 years' time, you could be representing Anguilla. So think of if you are running, say, 400 meters. Look at the world-class 400-meter runners and see the time you need to shave off, and you aim for it. What you call gradual progression in your training development. As I said earlier on, even though we express it, it's keeping them unfocused.
You just mentioned that, especially in Anguilla, because the pool of runners or athletes that we have, and we see it all across the sports, the competition is not as fierce as can be, and you would find that one person dominates and they think that they're at the top of the chain, and when they go on to the higher level, they realize that they aren't there yet. How do you speak to that particular athlete?
What I try to encourage athletes is to, while you're in high school, aim towards getting a scholarship so that you could be in a US program that would be very competitive, have a strong training environment, a strong competitive environment. Now, like Simon here, he went to Jamaica on maybe 3 or 4 occasions. He said he went to Jamaica 6 times for training. And so there he entered programs with some of Jamaica's senior athletes. Now, he expressed when he first went, the training seemed difficult because he lagged behind. But as he adapted to the training, then he was able to keep up with them. So one of the things we encourage athletes, if they can get an opportunity to go overseas on a scholarship, if not, if you can be immersed in a training squad, especially in Jamaica, you may have a lot of contacts.
How important is a coach to the athlete in terms of the information that's being relayed to that particular athlete?
Well, to be honest, the coach is seen as the most important person in the athlete life. In the athlete life, even more than the parents or any other adult involvement. Because if a person's mind is focused on the one, then athlete, is the coach who expect to bring that person to their maximum performance. So therefore, the coach tend to take over that athlete's development. And I always say that the coach should have a very intimate relationship with the athletes. If they're going to a party Friday night, let the coach know. If they're going to St. Mark's or something, let the coach know. So the coach need to have that sit-down discussion and plan the program for the entire year, which means the training and the competitions, as well as any other things like exams and so. The coach should be pretty much know exactly how those things are going. So the coach is considered, from my point of view, the most important person in the life of the athlete.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jasmine, good afternoon. Yeah, welcome back again. We noticed that the Commonwealth organization included the beach, the Department of Fisheries into this aspect of the Baton relay. Tell us how important is such a venture to what the fisheries wants to do in terms of the cleaning up.
Well, Anguilla boasts its beautiful beaches and its pristine seas, and it's important that we keep our oceans. We're fortunate that a lot of our beaches aren't very polluted. We don't have any freshwater outlets. We also don't have high traffic on our beaches, which kind of prevents, or like high shipping areas, which prevents a lot of pollution. But it still manages to get in, and we need to ensure that we keep our oceans clean, because one, we don't want microplastics building up in our ecosystem. Two, we don't want to damage our ecosystems like coral reefs, where ropes, bags, material might get caught upon them and damage them. We also don't want to have any hazards, so if there's galvanized floating around in the water, it could damage boats, it could damage people. So we want to ensure that our seas are safe, not just for the people of Anguilla, for our visitors and for our ecosystem, to ensure a safe environment for everyone.
So, explain how this expedition will take place tomorrow. What are some of the things that we'll be seeing people doing, etc.?
So we actually had a very productive meeting with the Anguilla Ocean Keepers, who's one of the partners for the in-water aspect tomorrow. So we're all going to be gathering bright and early. I shouldn't say bright, dark and early tomorrow morning at 5:30 in Sandy Ground. We're encouraging people to come out and help. We'll have some persons from the Fisheries Unit and the Anguilla Ocean Keepers suited up with dive gear to help with the larger pieces of trash if we find any. And then we'll have many snorkelers who are out snorkeling. We're going to use mesh bags to ensure that we're able to pick up, collect, and not have any water resistance, as well as be able to take those bags out of the water more easily without them breaking. And we're going to have groups to ensure the safety. So we want to section out the different parts of the beach and have groups of 2 to 3 persons in each section, cleaning up the beach with a dinghy out there. One, ensuring the safety of our swimmers by warning any vessels or persons who are using the harbor, as well as the help to move the water, the trash from in the water. We don't want to be swimming back and forth, which is quite tiring, but we'll have a dinghy collecting that garbage, bringing it all ashore, and then the land aspect, or the persons on land, they'll be collecting that garbage and then disposing of it as well.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would the Fisheries Association view our upkeep of our beaches, our ecosystem with fisheries, etc.? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you place Anguilla?
That is a difficult question kind of to answer in terms of the health and the prosperity of our ecosystems, because we can break it up by our beaches, which we're very fortunate to have. Quite clean, large, white sandy beaches, as well as our coral reefs. On a scale of 1 to 10 within the Caribbean, I'd like to say that we're kind of on par with a lot of the other islands. We're fortunate to have a lot of programs which not only monitor in the short term, but long-term running programs, such as our beach monitoring program, where we look at coastal erosion since 1992, as well as our Anguilla Marine Monitoring Program, where we go down and we look at the health of ecosystems, fish populations, diversity indexes since 2008. So we have quite a long-standing database where we're able to compare and see how our ecosystems are changing over time and look at the health of both our beaches as well as our underwater environment.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jasmine. I simply want to express our appreciation to everyone for at least making the King's Baton Relay thus far very much, I can say, a successful one, right? I want to thank the Governor's Office for your support. I want to say a special thank you to the designers of the Baton, Aloy, Carmel, and Rudy,